People see Farigiraf as a popular counter to priority moves by the opponent. During Season 1, it was a popular pick for VGC teams as a way to stop people from spamming priority moves, and it was used as a popular counter to Trick Room based teams, as well as a Trick Room setter. But what if I told you that Farigiraf was not the first to have an ability to counter priority moves without stopping the player from using them? That honor belongs to Her Queenly Majesty Generation 7's Tsareena.
Is there more to us than the words we say, the games we play? Can we know that we're not dreaming?
So here's the thing about Tsareena and Farigiraf. Both of them have an ability that serve the same role, stopping the opponent from using priority moves against you. Yet they go about what they do in different ways. Tsareena, based on her stats, is much more bulky with a faster speed and focused attack stat, enabling her to go for potential assault vest plays or even a choice scarf to make use of her speed. A common play with Tsareena is to give her a choice scarf, entirely stop your opponent from going for moves like fake out, and then U-turn to swiftly deal with damage and swap into a partner in the back who is more suited to handle the situation on the field at the time. Your opponent is going to set up Trick Room, swap into your own Trick Room user. Your opponent has physical attacks, need intimidating? Well, your Arcanine is ready for the job. Dondozo about to spam Wave Crash? Gastrodon is on standby. Assuming you have these Pokemon in your party. Point is, that is Tsareena's goal. She also has access to her signature Grass-type move Trop Kick, which still deals good damage and reduces the attack stat of a target by one stage when it connects. She also hits like a truck with her 120 base attack stat, so any physical move you give her will be highly viable for her, and she gets access to many types of physical attacking moves, including fighting, flying, fairy, psychic, and the aforementioned bug move with U-turn. So she is not lacking in offensive pressure, and her ability is an amazing defense against people who forget she exists in the game. But what about her slower, long-necked counterpart? While Farigiraf may not have the bulk Tsareena has to run an assault vest, it more than makes up for it in being a mixed attacker with a high HP, and its slow speed makes it a strong candidate to fight in and out of Trick Room. The newly evolved Giraffe Pokemon also brings to bear powerful psychic abilities, namely the ability to counter popular moves and strategy with Imprison. One common strategy early on during Series 1 and even partially in Series 2 was to give Farigiraf Imprison and have it use moves like Hyper Voice and Trick Room to counter the opponent for going Trick Room, and a very popular Sylveon build which used Hyper Voice Throat Spray, effectively rendering Sylveon useless the entire fight. Its slow speed also made it a good Trick Room user itself, and its high HP combined with the Terra mechanic made it a popular candidate to set up Trick Room reliably without being one-shot by anything but the strongest Pokemon, and seriously, I max EV trained my Farigiraf's HP, so that popular counter Trick Room plays failed. Remember how everyone spammed Choice Scarf, Final Gambit, and Annihilate? I survived on like 12 HP every time because they just assumed I would die to it and not double down into my Giraffe, allowing me to safely get Trick Room up each and every time. Its normal and psychic typing also gave it an effective counter to Ghost type and Fighting type users, as one hits neutral while the other can't touch my Giraffe. It is also a very popular user of Hyper Voice thanks to its strong special attack stat and normal typing. In combination with the Throat Spray and the ability to protect you against priority moves, this Pokemon is a fearsome foe to face if left unopposed or if given the chance. Its strongest asset is just its ability to survive. Trained properly or given good defensive Terra type, Farigiraf will endure any attack long enough to gain an advantage for you. Now, these things are all good for both Pokemon, but why do people not use them for their other abilities, for example? Well, that's because their other abilities are rather bad. Tsareena suffers from the classic grass stigma, and that is grass types on their own are countered by literally half of the most popular type moves in the game. Its other two abilities, Leaf Guard and Sweet Veil, leave much to be desired. While countering being put to sleep is nice, the only most reliable way people put Pokemon to sleep in the game is the classic Spore from Amoonguss. Outside of gimmick strategies like gravity hypnosis from Sandy Shocks and Expothra, Spore is the only real way to ensure the opponent falls asleep that players will run, because competitive players hate having to rely on coin flips. As for Leaf Guard, well, let's put it this way. If you're under the effects of the sun, being burned is the least of your concerns. You're more afraid of getting burned to a crisp from a flamethrower as Tsareena, unless you're Terrafire, than you are about being hit with a Will-O-Wisp. The only ability grass types want under the sun is Chlorophyll. Also, if you Terrafire as Tsareena and you're not under the sun, you better watch out for that Jet Punch when they realize you don't have Queenly Majesty. Now, Farigiraf doesn't get off easier. Farigiraf's two abilities are not that better compared to what Tsareena has working for it. On paper, Cud Chew is pretty nice. Getting to eat a berry twice in a row means you can go for some silly shenanigans, such as giving your Pokemon the berry that increases its special attack stat by 1 stage, meaning it can gain 2 special attack stats just by surviving a hit at low HP. Problem is, that is on paper. In practice, most people will assume you have the Armor Tail to protect against priority moves, and once they notice you don't, well, that +2 special attack stat is doing no good when a hero goes for the Jet Punch. As for Sap Sipper, due to how weak grass types are in general, nobody is going to spam grass type moves outside of Meowscarada's Flower Trick, and most Meowscaradas will not use Flower Trick on you, and instead go for a knockoff. So again, unless you're Terra into something that will resist the Magician Cat's knockoff, it won't be using Flower Trick on you. And then they realize you don't have Armor Tail, and here comes that Jet Punch again. Now, the point is, these two Pokemon are best used with their strongest ability, and that is the Queenly Majesty and the Armor Tail. Both do the exact same thing, stopping the opponent from using priority moves against you, and both are excellent candidates. So, which of these two should you use if you plan to use them? Well, that depends on what you need for your team. Farigiraf is best used to counter popular threats, namely Trick Room setters, Pokemon that spam popular moves like Dazzling Gleam, Hyper Voice, Shadow Ball, etc., or even to use as a more reliable way to set up Trick Room for yourself. As for Tsareena, while she may have her grass stigma weakness, people who do not respect her or her power and treat her as a threat will feel her kick when she pivots out and comes back in to deal the massive damage you need her to. She also has a useful tool to help remove the popular entry hazard set up by Glamora, thanks to her rapid spin move. Just remember everybody, paradoxes still exist, so be careful when you use these Pokemon. Until next time, everybody, take care of yourselves. Tell me which of these two would you put onto your team if you had to pick one of these two. I'll see you all next time. Take care of yourselves, everybody. Bye-bye.
When you've reached the point where you can't go on, just come to me, you'll be safe from harm. If you trust in me, then I'll trust in you. There's nothing more that I need to do. If you put your hands in front of mine, we'll be shining through one at a time. Just understand.